We have a new.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello,
Welcome.
everybody.
We've made
How
it.
are you?
Cam is in a full-on new country.
Yes. Oh my God. It's so hard. Like the transition. I just I had to buy a bunch of things that you don't even think about. Like I had to buy a hair dryer and like stuff like that. And it's just so many little things like that. Um, and like every time I'm trying to do something, like it turns out I still need like another tool or whatever. So yeah, I'm still trying to process the whole thing,
Yeah.
but it's going well. It's been raining all day, exactly as I expected. So it's great.
Welcome back to this part of the world where it rains
Yeah.
all the time. And not that I'm in this part of the world, but what I imagine that part of the world being like.
Yeah, it's cold and rainy, and yeah, yeah. So
Awesome.
that has not
I
changed.
like the furry sweater or hoodie. I don't know if it's a hoodie or
Yeah,
not,
I
but
have like two on me actually
that
'cause
looks comfy.
cold.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
I've transcended climates here.
Well, it got colder here too. It's a little chillier. Not cold, I would say, but it's definitely the hurricane brought in the lower temperatures. So it's like well, you don't know, like I don't know the conversion, but 70s Fahrenheit. I guess that would be 20s Celsius, perhaps.
20. Oh, we are at 7 here.
Oh.
20 is like somewhere already. Like
I don't know the
different.
difference. I always just guess. I'm like, I know 30 is like warm, really hot. So we're not there. We're not hot, 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 but we're like it's dropped a little bit.
Okay. But it's okay in terms of like just the situation not being awful and stuff.
We got very lucky. We got very, very lucky the whole time at night. So I was streaming on my channel until like probably 11 p.m. And I wasn't expecting to do it that long, but like I don't know, this subject matter just it was sort of interesting and people were still watching, so I was like, okay. But I kept hearing the wind outside like picking up in the rain. And so then I got an alert on my phone that was like seek shelter immediately, danger. I was like, okay, I better get off. So then I laid on the couch like the whole night, and basically it sounded like World War III was going on outside. And I was like, oh no, like this is so freaky. And I didn't sleep very well. But then in the morning, like I looked out, there was not the one tree fell over in our yard, which wasn't so bad. It was like a little like tiny tree, so no problem. And then that was it, and we had power the whole time. And but apparently our neighbors were not so lucky. Like the whole rest of the street is still without power. Now we're like connected, we're like really close to like a power plant, which is probably detrimental in some ways to me, but in this case helpful. So yeah, we got, like we haven't gone outside at all because it was like super rainy still yesterday. And then today now it's like beautiful out. And we have,
Wow.
so I don't know, but a lot of people in the southern part of the state are like completely destroyed. Like they have no
Oh God.
homes, or it's flooded, or electricity's not coming back, or they can't get on the roads. We got very, very lucky. So
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
I
You
guess
guys are you have it rough with these hurricanes, honestly.
yeah, it's been, I used to live in South Florida more towards the beach, and it was always worse, I think, back then, or when I lived down there, because you get all of the like wet flooding. So inland, I'm more in the middle of the state, so it's a lot better because by the time it hits us, it's like much more calm than if it's coming right off the ocean and you're like located there. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think God picked his favorites with me. So I
You
manifested
manifested.
survival. That's horrible to say. I'm not really saying that. I'm joking, but people do believe that. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh God. Um, I hope you guys are well, like people in the comments and stuff. Like if you're like located in similar zones and stuff. Gosh, I just can't imagine because I don't think I've ever been in one. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so scary, to imagine that.
It's almost like being in a blizzard or something. Like if you're used to it, you're like, oh, whatever. After a certain amount of years, you go hurricane, schmurricane. But then one does come and it's, devastating. It's like, oops. Because we've had them, I've been in Florida for a long, long time. And the worst one for me personally was Katrina. It was 2005, and we had like 6 hurricanes in one season, which is a lot. And Katrina came, obviously, was worse once it left Florida and went to New Orleans and completely like changed lives there forever and changed the city itself. But before, it knocked over a tree onto our car, so I had a dented car for my whole life, basically. I never got it fixed. And like our power was out for like 2 full weeks, which was miserable. And my daily routine back then, I must have been 14. I was 14 years old. And my daily routine was to wake up in the morning sweating, profusely sweating, and then walk over to Wendy's, because they were open, get myself like a junior cheeseburger deluxe and a baked potato, and then walk back and then play Game Boy all day until the batteries ran out, and then put new ones in. And that was my daily routine for 2 weeks during Hurricane Katrina. Old aftermath.
How did you play the game without the power? How did you play the game without power?
Because it was battery powered.
Good old times.
The good old days of double A's.
Right now, I have no idea what we would do without electricity for like a day. Like everything would die. Phones, computers, everything. Like literally, we would not be able to do anything.
Yeah, I know. And I don't want to experience it. Like going camping or something is cool, but you still have like all, your phone and you have access to things. So yeah, being at your house when it's like sticky hot and you're like, you don't have anything to do and there's no electricity, it sucks. It's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyways, we all survived.
But yeah, that is... it's important to talk about it though, because I feel like like I said, like I'm just on this other side of the world and I don't really know. And aside from you having mentioned it, and I saw like the post that Cici Suarez was posting saying that she's back and whatever. Like aside from that, I don't really have much contact with people. Not that I have contact with Cici because I don't know her, but like I watch her sometimes. So
Yeah.
It's we would never know about what's going on that side. They don't show this on the news unless it's like super devastating, so basically we don't want it to be shown on the news.
Yeah, if it reaches you, then it's bad. Well, it's interesting because I was thinking about that. I was like, Cuba, which is not very far from Florida, it's like 90 miles from the point, the lowest point of Florida, which is nothing. The entire country, there was no power. And like we heard like one story about it, and the United States, it's like minute by minute coverage of like it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's this speed, it's that. Like we cover it so detailed, but then hits the Bahamas, no problem. It hits the Puerto Rico, a little coverage, not big of a problem. Jamaica, no. Cuba, no. But as soon as it gets anywhere near Florida, we are like back to back coverage all day long, which it makes sense because their market is the United States, but it's just crazy how different the coverage is from the news perspective of, where it hits.
I don't care about any other country at all.
Yeah. Welcome to America. We don't care about anyone else but us.
Oh gosh, don't tell me about that because I just went on a date with an American guy last night.
Really? Oh. Yeah. Is he in school there too?
Yeah. And
we apologize.
He spent the whole night talking about himself. He didn't ask a single question.
Aww.
I was sitting there being like, really? Like, he's not going to be like, what about you? Or like, nothing.
Like, no. He's like, you like Andrew Tate, right? Yeah. I love him.
He then hit me with that hustle mentality. So I was like, oh boy, okay.
Oh, God.
This is not going well.
What state was he from? Do you know?
Minnesota?
Oh, boring. Just kidding. I mean, I'm not though, but I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and also you know, he was talking about this hustle mentality, and obviously I had to weigh in. So, you
You're
know,
like, I love
not that he
hustling.
asked, but once I started to weigh in, he was like, "Why are you debating me?" I'm like, "What?"
No, stop. Oh my God.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
canceled.
This is like
Why are you debating me?
seriously. I can't believe this happened. This has never happened to me. Not to that. I mean, everyone's like, you know, want to talk about themselves or whatever, but like to that extreme where he just like he did not care about a single like. I'm like, why did you even? Because he was the one who invited me out. So I was like, what?
How'd you
Why?
meet him? Like in class
But
or
just
something?
like on no, on a dating app on
Ah.
Hinge. Well,
Well, I think he probably thinks he's exciting because he's in Europe. So, especially a guy from Minnesota that's like anywhere outside of the United States, it's like a very exciting moment for them, probably. So, and rightfully so. But he's probably like, oh, I'm the most interesting person she's ever met because I traveled 8 hours flight.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if he might have been had he not been so self-involved,
Yeah.
but no, no, that was a very long 2 hours that I spent there.
Well, RIP to that relationship.
Yeah.
We apologize on behalf of the United States.
Well, he did say that he was really good at DIY, and now I will be doing some DIY on this wall. So I was like, this would have been useful if I hadn't, you know, completely burned that bridge.
It's DIY for a reason. Do it yourself, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That sort of nicely brings us into our first and main topic of the day is do you get coupled up just for the home building expertise, the plumbing help, the fix it up stuff,
The taxes.
the taxes? Yeah. Do you find a mate at some point for those reasons, or are you just like are really in love with your spouse? That's what we all want to know, right? That's the big question. Do people who get married, are they just in it for the fun of it, the tax breaks, or are they truly in love? What do you think for the most part?
That's a big question. That is a huge question. Yeah, yeah. I think we have an example, right, today of one of these.
Yes. Well, I'm going to show you a video. Now, I don't know if you know a ton about the Try Guys, but if you don't, that actually is more helpful to my cause because I'm going to play you a clip and you tell me based on the clip if you think that the guy that's the main person, you'll get it quickly, loves his wife or is like really into the relationship for more than just, stability and such. Let me get it up. Hold on. For some
I used
reason,
to
not here.
I used to watch the guys on BuzzFeed like a long time ago. Not that I was a fan, but you know, BuzzFeed was so popular, they kept on pumping out content, and you obviously come across it. So I do recognize them, but I haven't watched them in so long that
Sorry. Yeah.
I have no idea what they're doing or what they've been doing for the last few years.
Same for me, essentially. I watched them way back when. I knew who they were when they were on BuzzFeed. I also remember watching like a documentary at some point about them leaving BuzzFeed and how BuzzFeed was sort of a toxic place and how they had to like fight for their rights to leave and all that. And they got a house together as a group and there was some controversy. So I was interested from like a BuzzFeed hater perspective. And not that I hate BuzzFeed, I was interested to know like if they had a bad policy or not. So that's my only real recognition of them or remembrance. But here's a video of Ned, one of the Try Guys. Here's a compilation. Here you go.
My wife. 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 wife, my 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 wife, my.
Okay. Do you think he's married?
Oh, I don't know. Let's play that again. If you can stomach another 5 minutes of him saying that.
Yeah. So what do you think? First impressions, do you think, number one, okay, I guess we established he has a wife. Do you think that, speaking about your wife in this way, sort of signals to the world that you're very involved with your wife? What do you think?
Spicy question. I would say, it definitely like the part that I'm struggling with is that I know what happened. So I feel like
Yes.
I can only see it through that lens now. But it kind of makes me think that he's like married.
Yes. And that he likes being married and that it's a big part of his personality. And that's what I guess people have been saying. Like it's become almost overt to the point of there was merch created apparently that said my wife, because they had like bobbleheads or something at one point where they were giving out merch, and his, when you click the button, it said my wife. Like that's the extreme of how much this guy was associated with having a wife, loving his wife. Borderline. Now that we're looking at it from a different perspective, and basically he's come out and, okay, let me start from the beginning, because there's a lot of flaws in this whole story. So people on Reddit, as we know, as we love, are investigators, right? So there's like a Reddit for the Try Guys. And recently, oh, thanks, Abigail.
Thanks, Abigail.
And recently, the last few videos, and I think we should watch one of them, before they had said anything, before the Try Guys had tried to address the elephant in the room, which is the cheating scandal that came out, people started noticing that Ned, who is one of the Try Guys, the one that we just watched, had been strategically edited out of videos before they had addressed anything. Now, this one is called Keith Eats Everything at Vegas Buffet. We don't have to watch the whole thing because it's long, but just notice maybe a couple little things that Ned is not apparently shown at all. But then when you look back at Twitter, there's like pictures of him and the person who he cheated on his wife with were both there in the Twitter photos. So that's why people started putting two and two together and going, okay, wait, something's going on. And then there's more. So just here's an example.
In September 2012, in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Bacchanal Buffet at Caesar's Palace. To eat, as you can expect. This is the biggest buffet in Vegas.
Okay, it's just him, basically.
Kimchi. Emphasis right. The lady walks by with a tray. Dip the thumb in butter.
Don't think I would.
Okay, apparently this is just him. But I don't know. People on Reddit had noticed that Ned was nowhere to be found, and the rest of them apparently were in videos relating to Vegas, and they thought it was suspicious. And also, I guess they have an opener. Hold on, let me find it.
Drink a full one of them.
They have like an opening, like kind of like a "We're the Try Guys," da-na-na-na-na, and like he was no longer a part of it. They like edited him out too in that opening thing. So then on Reddit, there comes Perez Hilton, gets involved, and
the man that made Jenna Kutcher famous via that
yes.
picture. Yeah.
Apparently, someone had sent him somehow, I don't know how it goes, pictures of Ned and another woman. Okay, here's the Vegas thing. Now, this is sort of going into the drama territory, I would say. So I'm not saying this is part of like what is important here, but I think it's interesting, basically, for a gossip perspective. Okay, so here's the Twitter thing I was talking about, the tweet. Fans noticed that in this Instagram photo, both Ned and Alex were in Vegas during the filming of Keith's Eat the Menu episode, but they do not appear in the video. Some fans also speculate that a section of the buffet was left out. So
Can we make that picture bigger?
Yeah. And it's, here you go.
Cami. They call me Cami. Or Cami in Romania.
Cami.
It's short for my name.
Oh, cute. Okay, there's Ned right here at the little tie, and there's the woman who apparently he had a relationship with. And that's the guy who was just in that video about the Vegas buffet.
Right.
So that led to some speculation. But more speculation is this. This is from a Reddit user. Now, again, this could all be doctored and fake. Who knows? But it looks, this is what the story has been. So somebody was like, hey, I saw Ned making out with someone who's not his wife. And this apparently is like the photo where that's him apparently with that girl from the Vegas photo.
Oh,
You
God.
can't really see it, but that's
Imagine
him
getting
and her
that
allegedly. So they had photo evidence allegedly. But they have since both come out. Well, at least the Ned has, admitted it. And I think we should look at the statement. But there's a couple things even in the statement that I'm like, okay, weird. Specifically, the way he worded the relationship. But I think it's important but interesting. Okay, here we go. Here's Ned's Instagram. Okay, here's him and his wife.
Oh, my wife. Okay, she's gorgeous.
She is very pretty. And this is 7 weeks ago. This is the type of post that you would see, on his Instagram, seemingly.
And they have a kid?
Yeah, they have 2 kids.
Oh,
I believe.
God. No.
I think.
I'm just...
Here's in Vegas
Yeah.
during the alleged incident. Okay, all right. So because all the internet was happening, people were speculating. The Try Guy said, okay, Ned is no longer a part of the group. They made the announcement. Now he came out and said, family should have always been my priority, but I lost focus and had a consensual workplace relationship. I'm sorry for any pain that my actions may have caused to the guys and the fans, but most of all to Ariel, his wife. The only thing that matters right now is my marriage and my children. That's where I'm going to focus my attention.
Why not? Why call it what is this? A consensual workplace relationship? You mean a fucking affair? You mean an extramarital affair? Is that what he means by consensual workplace relationship?
That was the word that I was I'm glad it was consensual. But
Okay.
thank God.
That's true. That's with it. Nobody accused him of having a non-consensual workplace relationship. That was not the accusation at all.
He's
So
like,
he's
this is
just
not a Me Too
gaslighting
thing.
people.
Yeah, this is not a Harvey Weinstein situation. Okay, no one thought that, I don't think, but the woman who was involved was a producer, I believe, on their YouTube channel or a part of their media brand. So technically, I mean, he would be one of the bosses, one of the founders of the company. So she would be a subordinate employee, I would imagine. So I think that's why he said it was a consensual thing. This wasn't like a bribery situation, perhaps. I don't know. I was sort of like surprised by that wording as well.
Yeah, that's very weird wording.
Yeah.
It's like trying to take away from the fact that he's cheated on his wife by calling it a consensual workplace relationship with my extra lover. Like,
Yeah,
what
my other friend. Yeah. And she apparently, the woman that he, and even look in the bio, this is what, and he hasn't changed it, obviously. It says comedian and New York Times bestseller. Of course he's a New York Times bestseller. Who's not these days?
Oh my God. We should get his book and review it.
Yeah, right? It's like my wife.
What would his book be? It's just like how to have a successful marriage.
How to have a consensual workplace relationship while being married. But it
How
says,
to cheat on your wife while in Vegas with the boys.
yeah, how to edit out controversial people from your YouTube videos. But it says AKA Ariel Fulmer's husband. So that's like in his bio, that's how he describes himself. Like, I am, this, but really the most important thing is this, my wife, as he
I
says.
wonder what that's about, that whole thing. Like just making it sound like he's a relatable guy because he's just this married guy and
Yeah. I really think That's what it is. And I made a post on my Instagram, and I think you'll find it funny. I think you saw it already. But like signs that you're about to get divorced. Okay, which one of these do you think he and his wife have done? There's actually more than one, but if you guess, you'll win a prize. I'm just kidding.
I'm not gonna go with 30-day sex challenge because I feel like we would have read about it by now. So I'm gonna go with starts a relationship advice podcast.
Ding, ding, ding. That's one of them. Of
I
course they
genuinely
have a
had no idea.
podcast. Of course they have a podcast. Now, relationship advice podcast is a little strong of a word. It's not like Lisa, Bill, you, and Tom, where it's like relationship, advice, where it's like overtly that. But it's definitely like, this is what we do. Follow us, and we'll show you how to be, a real in love couple. It's called Baby Steps. Here they are. Monetizing the babies right away. And apparently there's a whole subsection of the Try Guys called the Try Wives. So I really, honestly, this comes back to, if you have the inkling to monetize your relationship, monetize your children, if you have that like little like drop of interest in that, bury it deep inside your soul and never do it, because it's a life of misery coming your way if you do it.
Yeah.
But here it is. And this is, again, it's like,
We have a new pod.
everything is fake. Everything you see in the entire world online is fucking fake, especially when there's millions of dollars being made. I will say that for the record, and I will say it forever. Nothing is real. Okay, here we go. Here's what the podcast is all about.
We have a new podcast.
Woo! It's called Baby Steps.
The raw, the real, the messy, the dirty, the poop in your big boy pants stories of parenting. No, Wesley, no.
Like, I went to a Montessori
I
school.
don't even know what it is.
You know what Montessori is?
Not really. I mean, I know you just got a pair of Birkenstocks. Expert advice, trending product reviews, maybe even a couple of your stories.
Is my child a genius?
Okay, well, that's...
Good bread.
We know that we make it look cute on Instagram, but this podcast is about being
The
real.
nitty-gritty of parenting with a toddler and soon to be a newborn. There is a biological reason that pregnant women fart.
Yeah.
I don't
just
know.
like ripping them.
Excuse me.
You can go subscribe right now. Search for Baby Steps everywhere you find podcasts. So you're super horny, super sensitive, flexible as a yoga instructor.
And yet, unfortunately, I am like a bag of farts.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
There's something about when a woman gets pregnant, the husband claims up and down, oh, I love my wife, I love my wife, I love my wife. That seems, it fits in with the Adam Levine situation as well. As soon as the wife gets pregnant, all of a sudden he's off to somewhere else. It's very disappointing.
Yeah. My friend actually was married, and she had the baby, and 2 months in, essentially, the baby was 2 months old. She found out he was cheating, so divorce.
I wish people would talk about that more on these real, raw, honest podcasts that they claim to have. Like, is there a lack of attraction at a certain point? Always it's like, no, you're a bad man, you're a bad person if over time you're no longer attracted to your spouse. I think that's like the social norm. And if you go against that, you're an asshole. But if it's the truth, is there a way to work through that as a couple? And I think telling the truth of that would probably help a lot of people ultimately, honestly, because obviously something's going on here in this relationship, whether it's between them or just on his side. But if he was honest, like, it would probably turn people off, but maybe it would be actually real, raw, and helpful to somebody.
Yeah, but then he would have to do the hard thing of being honest, which he's never done before. So,
Yeah. It's hard to monetize
it's kind
honesty.
of a difficult thing to do for the first time on a public platform.
Yeah.
Be honest. Like, what the fuck?
It's like, and during the, also shout out to you, because you got a really cool shout out in the Financial Diet podcast recently. Hold
Oh,
on.
yes. Thank you.
That
Yeah.
was very cool. I know you like their stuff a lot, so that was pretty cool that you got that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually gonna meet with Julia on a conference call. We're gonna talk
Nice.
about all the things. So yeah, I plan to do this because I have 16 patrons, I think, at the moment. And I said that when I reach 20, I'm gonna bring on a guest. So I figured, this was such a great like timing. I mean, it's not we're not at 20 yet, so but when
Four
we get
more.
there,
Four more. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so Julia and I spoke about a couple of years ago because she watched some videos that I made about Rachel Hollis, and she at the time I had this I actually think I still have it. It's something called buymeacoffee.com, and she like bought me a coffee, and she wrote like a message, and she was like, oh, I'm Julia from 2 Cents, and I was watching 2 Cents all the time, and we spoke briefly, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should just invite her over on a Zoom chat. And she said yes.
That's
She
awesome.
was like, immediately replied and said yes. And I was like, what? This is not real.
That's awesome. Well, the reason I brought it up specifically was because she kind of coined you with the first person she had ever heard talking about that curated imperfection. And you were like the expert on that topic. So I feel like, do you think that's what's going on in this situation? Like that's like the curated imperfection. Like we're all flawed and dirty and poopy pantsed. But in reality, that is still an airbrushed look at life.
Yeah. But first of all, I was not the one who coined the term. I think her name is Laura Turner. She's a BuzzFeed. She's a
Full circle.
BuzzFeed journalist. She wrote an article which was talking about Rachel Hollis, and that's where she coined the term curated imperfection. Or maybe she had used it before, but that's where I came across it. But yeah, definitely. I made another video at one point about Rachel Hollis, about the Rach Talk, when Rach Talk first started, like about a year and a half ago or something. And I called it manufactured imperfection or manufactured relatability. I can't remember exactly because it was such a long time ago. But
Yeah.
because she was doing the thing where she was dragging the tripod across as if she doesn't have a team. It's like, just shut up, Rachel. You don't even put your makeup on, and like you're telling me you're dragging tripods. Like you're not. So I think it's probably. I think, and this was a situation with a big channel on YouTube actually, who uh, their name is Spill, and
PHI, like Phil, like the name?
Spill,
Oh, Spill. Okay.
Spill, like Tea Spill. It's like a drama channel,
Okay.
and it's not Tea Spill, it's Spill. But there's another. So I'm saying that because there's another channel called Tea Spill. It's not to be confused with that.
Got it.
So Spill was this like animated, or not necessarily animated, just this cartoon character that was like spilling all the tea on the drama communities and so on. And D'Angelo Wallace actually called them out because he found out that they were a company. And it's
Stop
like,
it.
yeah. And it's kind of, was it Spill? I think it's Spill.
It looks like a drama channel. Is this what it is?
Yeah, Spill. That's
Okay.
the one. So they are actually a company, like a fully fledged media company, and they were essentially passing for like a small YouTuber. And D'Angelo Wallace talked about this like a while ago. And he said that, it's clear that these companies have started to notice that people relate to these YouTubers, like who are just trying to make it in their bedroom.
Yep.
Like, like us.
Can't relate to that. Sorry. I'm actually a
We're
full-fledged
relatable. I
company
don't
as
want
well.
to be relatable though, but yeah, so I'm relatable. But yeah, so he was talking about it, and he's basically just brought attention to the fact that so many go so far to pretend that they are not like
Yeah.
they're not like a team with money and with researchers. And of course it sucks because when you're a small YouTuber trying to make drama content, and I've made plenty of that, so I know it's like a matter of time a lot of the times. Like you have to break the news, so you have to get in early and just like, you establish some sort of following by being one of the first people to talk about it.
Yeah.
And if you're not one of the first people to talk about it, you often don't get any views because like
It's too late.
there's so many people. Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many people talk about it that it becomes like flowing with content.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have the same abilities that you have when you have a team of 10 people. Like it's just that, because they're gonna like find the thing, make the video, and within an hour they can have it out. It's like
Yeah.
that's not the reality of being a small YouTuber at all. So it just sucked to see that they are taking that away without. They should have just been like, yeah, we're a company, what's the problem? Like, like
Yeah, be
that.
honest about what you are, because when you're not, and also trying to seem smaller than you are. I understand more trying to like up level your game to make it look more professional than maybe you are. I can understand that side. But when you're consciously making a choice to like, make it look less than you have, like, oh, we could afford, to have a studio, but we're going to choose to have it in a bedroom to give the aesthetic that we're, not doing this thing. That's when it feels deceiving to me. Usually not the other way around, when you're trying to like, oh, look, I bought a camera so it looks better than, maybe I am really able to afford, perhaps. Like that, I'm like, okay, I can get it. They're trying to give a better experience to their viewers, as opposed to let's trick people into thinking something. And I don't know, like maybe I don't know where the Try Guys would fit in. They have about 24 employees, so 20 something employees working for them. I think their stuff looks edited, and they came from BuzzFeed, which obviously has a huge staff. So, I mean, I don't know if they were trying to hide, like as a company, that they were not super small anymore. I think they've probably been fairly honest about their growth. But I think in the relationship side of things, there is some deception there, at least on his part. I don't know about her part.
Yeah,
the
we have
wife.
to remember, even companies like that are really big, they were still started at some point by someone,
Yeah.
And these guys were like kind of a team coming from BuzzFeed. They already had experience in media. They already had like a salary in media, and they had done, when they moved on to doing their own things, they continued to do the same things that they were well, not exactly the same, because that would have been immediate copyright problem, but
Yeah.
similar stuff to what they were doing before. Like they kept on going with the comedic style, and just like it's really hard to, I don't know, to me it's very similar to what they were doing before, except
I
the
agree.
content has evolved over time, and that they have had different topics, but it was just the exact type of thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, so they started that, and probably, like somewhere deep down they would have liked to like become bigger and bigger and bigger. And how do you do that when you're like not, you don't have the power that BuzzFeed has or something? And you do it by
Yeah.
appealing to more people, and you can't be, I think, at least that's probably why, that's the only thing that I can find as an explanation as to why they try so hard. Try guys, try hard.
Try hard.
They try hard. Yeah.
I just think,
Because otherwise, like, Jesus Christ, why are you coming up with like a podcast to talk about your baby? And aside from the fact that it's content, and it's apparently very popular content, because look at these families, the LeBron families, all these families with like loads of kids, and they're posting their kids constantly, and everyone, not everyone, but like lots of people are watching, because otherwise they would stop posting. But
it makes money though. That's the problem. Because I think like our audience, probably both collectively on our own channels and this channel together, and the people that I interact with all day on Reddit, like I think you almost become your own echo chamber, where it's like, oh, people are really catching on to this. People really understand the ins and outs of this. But then when you look at the population and these people's following, it's clear that it's working still. There's still money to be made from faking it till you make it, or faking it all together. Because comparatively, like even Rachel Hollis, we've talked about her a bazillion trillion times. I talk about her all the time. She still has way more followers than both of us. She's got way more, like world reach than us. Even with the cancellations, even with all the stuff, Dave still seems to be, producing and finding it necessary to keep posting. There must be some sort of monetizing going on with the podcast or with something. Someone's paying the money. And even Heidi, who's like saying that she can't even function, basically, is getting 1,000 people to pay her money to teach them how to work out. So as much as we can criticize and go, oh, why do they do what they do? I think the easy answer is they're making money.
Yeah, and
Still.
that's why they keep on doing it.
Yeah.
And I also tend to think that, unfortunately, almost like all these cancellations sometimes work in their favor. Not all the time, but sometimes they do, and lots of influencers capitalize off of that. For example, in this situation, we have not heard of the Try Guys in so long. We've not watched them in so long.
Yeah.
Here we are, like, talking about them. So now they're relevant. It's like,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but this is how it works. And it's like really bizarre because I think we're like such, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm not saying it's just everyone watching but me, but
Yeah.
we're kind of split, because like on one side we're like, oh, I shouldn't be giving this attention, and on the other side we're like, we can't stop looking.
Yeah.
So it's like a train wreck, and you can turn your head from it. So you've got, so you're like stuck in the middle, and that's how they get all this attention. And the attention keeps like pushing them in the algorithm, and at least in the initial short time they get more attention, and they get more not fans, but more people listening and watching.
Yeah. No, I agree, definitely. And I feel like someone pointed this out on Reddit. I forget who it was, what their username was, but it was a very astute point, I thought. It's like, we are also in a parasocial relationship with these people that we talk about and discuss. It's just on the flip side, the other side of the coin, where it's like, extreme, and I'll take credit for this myself, or take responsibility, like extreme research and extreme scrutiny and extreme criticism, to the point of like, I want to see their whole, line of work to understand them better so I could like better critique it. But that's still creating a relationship. Now, I think it's probably more dangerous to be like, this person's my best friend, and they love me, I'm going to give them money. But I don't know how much better it is, or how different it really is to spend a lot of time building like the understanding. It's still parasocial. And I think that's where it's almost like, I feel like, oh, I'm not a victim to it because I don't love people for no reason, but also
But also,
here I am spending time, doing all this research. So I was like, damn, that's like a very interesting thing that I did not think about. And it's like parasocial relationships on the opposite side. So I was like, damn, I gotta think about
agree.
that.
I am a total victim. Like I am, I'm in love with like there's so many YouTubers that I just, watch for like, I literally feel like I'm hanging out with a friend. So I'm not even like, I'm not even deluded. I'm very well aware I'm in love with a screen. Like it's good. It's all right on my side.
Yeah.
When it's too much is when, or actually everyone like decides what's healthy for them, and what's not healthy for them. And I think for me it was more, at least with this side of it, we're criticizing and following. For me, there comes a time with the people that I criticize, because the people that I criticize are often people that I don't like.
Yeah. Same.
So it's rare that in Rachel Hollis's case, it wasn't that. It was that I did like her before, but I didn't no longer like her. So it's like, a kind of interesting position to be in, because I'm like, I fell out of love with someone, if that makes sense. So I feel like I had a point here. No, but yeah, with the people that I criticize, because I don't tend to like them, I have very little patience with them. So I will just be like over it a lot quicker than I would
Yeah.
like sometimes, to the point where sometimes I don't even want to make the content, because I'm like, gosh, they suck. Like,
Yeah. I think
you know,
sometimes it's like in school, at least for me, like, common enemies sort of were the way to make friends. Like, oh, you don't like this or that, you don't like this person, me neither. Oh my God, thank you. Or even at my coworkers, my first couple jobs was like, you kind of well, this is my own story, but like you tiptoe around it. You're like, did you think that thing was kind of weird in the meeting? And they're like, yeah, this person's so annoying. I'm like, oh my God, thank God you said that. I'm so I'm so glad. So we're leaving, and you talk about how you don't like that person or the boss or whatever. That's always been for me a way to make friends, is to, commiserate together about situations, about people. And so I find that now I'm home a lot. I don't have a co-working space or a place I go to meet people, co-workers, that I've switched it, like many people have during COVID, into an online way. Like, we have these basic levels of how we, make friends or find food or whatever. And then when it's no longer there, we have to adapt to feed the same thing. And so here I am taking that from where I learned in school and in my jobs, and now putting it onto the internet. It's like, okay, maybe this needs to be looked at a little bit closer in a way of like, I need more community in my life. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing, but realize that it's filling a need that's, probably unhealthy still.
yeah, and I definitely think that it has a lot to do with the pandemic, because I also like started making content during the pandemic a lot more. Like, I really actually started making content in the pandemic. I did make stuff before, but like, first of all, it was not this type of content at all, and second, it was just whenever, like, I would post one video now and one in 3 months. It wasn't like
Consistent.
so yeah. And it was because of the pandemic, because I was working in TV, and suddenly nothing was being made anymore because we were not allowed to go out with the cameras and film people. So nothing got commissioned, nothing was getting made, and I still had that like need to make things and to just kind of be creative and whatever. And that was my answer to it. But
I don't think it's
I
wrong.
definitely
I just
think
think it's a way to deal, as opposed to a deep character flaw that's like, you are a hater, you are a good person. Like, that I don't think those labels exist. I think we're all just trying to figure out how to like interact in this world, and these are the options right now in a lot of ways.
But I also think, like, I just think that I don't think we're like wrong by any means. That's the thing.
No.
I don't think. I mean, I am very, very much comfortable with what I'm doing, and I'm very committed to it, because I don't just criticize people. And that's the thing. For example, with what's his name? Gosh, blunt force discussion. We both had a short interaction with
He
the.
loves
You
us.
guys remember the video that we posted about Brittany Dawn's husband? He was being interviewed by this guy called Blunt Force Discussion. Well, that's not his name. That's the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
But the guy was so problematic. And then we had a short interaction in his comment section on Instagram. And he started to take a dig at us, like like at he's like, you have nothing in your life, and that's stuff like that. We don't do that. We criticize what people do. We criticize their words or their ways of thinking. We don't criticize people's the way they look and their lives and whatever. You know what I mean? And at least I don't think I do that.
I don't think you
You
do either.
tell me
I
if
do struggle morally. I struggle a lot with it though. And I probably, and more so recently, which is weird because I'm like, is this a self-sabotage type of thing? But the more positive comments I get about things, I'm like, is this right? Like, I really try to think about that all the time. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Like, but then I'll think about it further. I'm like, okay, no, I still feel okay doing this, but I'm open to feeling one day like it's not okay. But I don't know. I think you're more comfortable than I am with it, because I do go, well, if it was me, how would I feel? But at the same time, I think unregulated positivity does worse for the world. So that's where I sort of come back to.
Yeah, but I have a genuine problem with like the world just literally making these assholes like big,
Yeah,
and
sure.
essentially they're making empires. I mean, sorry, but Jake Paul is a complete dick.
Yeah.
So basically, just we took him from nothing, from Vine. I mean, but okay, he was not really a big deal on Vine, or well, maybe he was, but Vine was not a big deal. So, but
Yeah.
then he became this like multi-millionaire, and it's like, why? He's such a douche. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely would like to see a world where we actually get people who are, talented and good people and whatever, and things like that. That's what I want to see. I want to see them succeed. I don't want to see those douchebags
Yeah.
succeed and get millions. And I don't want to see like Kim Kardashian appropriate every single culture under the sun, and then we give her more money for it. It's like,
Yeah. I
no,
know.
they need to fuck the fuck off. Sorry.
Yeah.
It just gets me so angry, because that's not okay in my head, and it's not okay in the world.
I agree. And I feel like, the only problem I guess I go back to, it's like, am I changing anything? Am I really doing anything by speaking out and going, like, this is wrong? I mean, it's still going to exist, right? Like, no matter how many videos I've made about Rachel Hollis, she still exists. She's still going on tour. Dave, same. It's not, it doesn't stop it necessarily. And I don't even know if I'm trying to stop it. I really am not. I'm just trying to express myself and my frustration with it. But it's like, okay, what's the end goal with it? And that's where I start to struggle. Like, ooh, what's my end goal? Continuing to be upset, And I guess so far, yeah. And maybe I'll evolve out of that. But I mean, I don't know. It's better to be upset and do something about it in this way than be upset alone by myself. Because that's what I was doing before, like quietly stewing about it all the time, about these people.
I do think it does something, though. I mean, I think it's important to report on these things, because then
I agree.
people literally create empires based on like fake identities, like this guy. You create a whole image of being this guy who's in love with his wife and a family man and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and then turns out you're just a cheater.
I think we need to look at ourselves, not us necessarily, but people who are fans of these people and former fans as well, and go, why is it so important that other people show you their perfect life? And why is that so attractive for us? That we have hope that it's real. Like, if they can do it, then I can do it. And like, just creating this fake world, like, is it escapism in a way? Like, my relationship's not going well, or it's complicated, or I'm single, or whatever. But watching someone do a podcast about their kids in diapers and their family life, why is that so appealing to everybody? Or not everybody, but a lot of people. That's the question I think we need to ask them. Like, why would you watch this family talk about farting? Why?
I generally think there's a lot of young people watching, like kids. I think their audience, at least with these family vloggers, oftentimes skews very, very young. And then there's also the part of the population that is like looking for content to help. Like, I don't know how to change diapers. Like, you look on whatever, Google, YouTube, to find out. So it's a how to, because I think parenting is super hard. So they probably need information, and that's kind of how they come across it. And then they become parasocial friends, and then they want to
Yeah.
know what they're up to and whatever. So I can't even really blame people, aside from like all these big strikers, I would say, because those have been like, people have been raising awareness about them so much. So at this point,
Sure.
it's like, you're choosing not to listen.
Yeah.
You're not even you're not even listening to what people are saying. You're just like, yeah, it doesn't matter, I like this family, like.
I know. Well, that's the thing. It's like, you can show people, like, even more so when it comes to, for me, like the spirituality side of things and the retreats and whatever. And it's like, here's 20 people who have said their life has been destroyed by this teal swan. Here's 20 people who've said they have been completely manipulated by Joe Dispenza, and the list goes on. Tony Robbins, like, whatever. 1,000 people will go read every piece of that information and go, and still fucking do it. That's the thing. It's like, it's not the knowledge. And I know people like that too, that I'm like, I really like, okay, I'm going to cancel myself right now. Sorry.
Let's hear it.
I really like Shia LaBeouf as an actor. I really like him. I've always liked his work. I liked Holes. I liked Honey Boy. I liked everything that he's done, Disturbia. And yet when he came out and like there's accusations against him, I was like, ooh, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know. And I'm like, wow, if I didn't like him, if it was someone I already wasn't like that interested in or didn't care about, I would be like, oh, good. Like I'll never watch another thing of him. But because I like him as an actor, I'm like, I'm torn. Maybe I should read more about it and like discuss it and figure out if it's real. Like, is that fair? No, it's not, but it's true. And so I feel like there's already a bias based on what you're looking for and who you're after. It's not about evidence. It's about, okay, what's my disposition and am I willing to like go against my natural disposition for somebody and something, or am I not?
Yeah, and I think this is an interesting point because I think we have to give people the benefit of the doubt almost, and we have to some extent at least realize that nobody is perfect and that nobody will just go through, even us guys, even we'll be problematic.
That's not
like,
clear already.
I'm pretty sure that I'm problematic, or I don't know. I just, if anything comes out, I told you so.
This is
I am not problematic.
That's my statement.
Except for Rachel, of course. Everyone else but Rachel. No, but nobody's perfect, and I just think obviously we know that deep down, you know it in your soul that person is not perfect. But with some people, you're more willing to forgive than you are with others. And I believe this is why it actually takes so long to really cancel someone, because it doesn't happen like immediately. It doesn't happen with one thing, and that's because they need to screw up many times so that people actually get sick of them and stuff.
And I gotta agree with N too. I also like R. Kelly's music as well. Like and I don't listen to it all the time, but like like he had good music. Like at the end of the day, he's a horrible person. I don't agree with anything that he did, and he's in prison now, right? Like he went to prison. He got sentenced finally. So yeah, he got like the justice that he deserved, but he still made good music at the time. It's tough. Or Michael Jackson. I don't like Michael Jackson at all. I watched the Finding Neverland movie. I was disgusted and horrified. But yet a song comes on, Michael Jackson, I'm like, Diana. I can't stop. Like, I don't know. I sort of feel badly about it because I want to respect everybody when I, listen to entertainment or whatever. But it's very hard. And as someone who's trying to do it right, like I'm trying my best, but it's very difficult, and I feel like sometimes it's never enough. Like as someone who's trying, it's always like people sort of like, how can you possibly, listen to someone like this or do like they're like what's a Woody Allen, like I don't know. It's art from the artist conversation.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. That's the difference between the art and the artist, and I think at least where in some situations, and I also listen to Michael Jackson whenever it comes out on. Like I don't really ever listen to
I'm not buying it, but if it came on, it's like.
But I would say I would not necessarily go on and buy R. Kelly's merch to support him. So as long as if the song is free and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna whatever. I mean, it's a 3-minute thing. I don't care. But I'm not gonna go and buy the album. I'm not gonna go and buy his merch. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna support him directly. It's I think at least I guess this is the same thing with the people that we criticize on this channel and on our channels. Like we do listen to the podcast or we do buy the books, but it's mostly to stop others from doing it themselves. So it's kind of like it's got a compound result.
It's to be fair and to read it and to go, okay, I'm taking the time to look into it. Because some people are like, you don't even know this person. You don't even know their history. It's like, okay, I'm reading it in full to understand the full context so that there's no confusion on my end or their end of like how much I'm trying to read it and get it. Because that is true. Like some people are like, I hate this person. It's like, you don't even know anything about what they've done or what their work is about. They just like heard it from someone who heard it from someone, So I never try to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, oh, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Your swollen toe.
Your swollen toe says, "Here's my tithe to the Church of Cringe-Fluencers. Now give me your parasocial blessings." This is what I have to say to you, your swollen toe. Thank you, and
I do not give a fuck.
that's the prayer.
New. I've not heard it before. It's
In the
new.
name of the Father, Son, and
I do not give a fuck.
Was that Lisa Bilieu?
no, that's Rachel. This is Rachel. This is Lisa Bilieu. Want to call her real quick? Let's call Lisa. Ding, 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 ding. Lisa, hello.
What up, homie?
Lisa, where are you? What are you doing, girlie? What's going on, homie?
I'm outside the Cheesecake Factory waiting for it to open.
Okay.
I feel like this is Kayla's version of a dad joke.
You keep getting that cheesecake, girlie. You do it.
Mic drop, homie.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That is something.
Okay. That was a short commercial break. Thank you, your swollen toe. But one thing I want to say is, now this is maybe not a hot take. This is like a lukewarm take. But I think if people were more okay with being judged, and this is for my own ears to hear this, if people were more okay to be judged by liking something that's like, bad, like I'm a Shia LaBeouf stan no matter what. Like if I just made that proclamation, or I like R. Kelly, his music, even though he did these bad things. If we were more okay with coming out with that and like taking the negativity that comes at us, I think there may be less people denying the truth of what happened. Like Michael Jackson, for example. A lot of people, they cannot stop liking him, so they'll deny the abuse of those children happened, because it's easier for them to deny that abuse than to say, I believe the abuse happened, but I still like him. And to me, that's almost more hurtful to pretend it never happened and to say, oh, the allegations are lies and it's all bullshit. But it takes more of the responsibility off of you to do that.
I agree. And I think that this is, it's hard when someone is liked, for example. It's hard to like bring any sort of accusations because that person is so liked that it will not register with people when you say something that does not fit into their imagination or their understanding of that person.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks. And if I don't know if this has ever happened to you in real life, but it has definitely happened to me with my ex. And after my relationship ended and so on, when I told people about some stuff, they would not believe me. They would tell me that I was the bad guy and like stuff like that, or and I was never even trying to like paint a narrative that someone was the bad guy. I was just angry and mad and like whatever. But people just didn't believe me. They preferred to like just continue with whatever image they had in their mind, and in that image I was the woman who's also always angry or whatever. So I was like, okay, fair enough. If you want to see me as the villain, fine, that's fine. I'm okay. If that's what it takes for someone to just be able to continue their friendship with that person, just dissociating and just gaslighting themselves, fine. Like, I'm not there. I'm not in their life. I'm not in that country anymore. So it's not really like, it's not my problem anymore. You know what I mean? At this point,
it's like a coping skill. Like they don't want to. They're like, I want to choose this because it's more convenient for me. Maybe like this person's here. You've left the country. Okay, whatever happened, I'm gonna be friends with him. So therefore, now I have to change my mentality to be like, you're the bad guy, so I can like live with myself without feeling bad about it. I think we do that all the time. Unfortunately, it's trying to gaslight yourself to feel better. But it's because our society, I think, is so fucking focused on positivity and positivity first and only. And I think if we all were allowed a little bit more to feel like, okay, I can live in this society with having negative baggage without it being a secret, I think things would be better. Now, will we ever get there? I don't think so, but maybe. You never know.
Yeah, and I think, the fact that this is very interesting. To me, the toxic positivity thing is very interesting because I don't think I have ever I don't think I'm good at it. I think I suck at being toxically positive. So I'm
I'm
the
good at it.
exact opposite. And it's like sometimes a hard pill to swallow for some people because they're not used to that, so I become a hard pill to swallow myself, basically, as a person. But I find that, at least in my experience, like the fastest way out is through. So it's kind of, if you have resentment, if you have anger, if you have all these feelings that have been branded negative,
We all
which I
have
don't
them.
even know why they have been branded negative, they're just feelings. Like being angry is just a feeling, like being joyful is a feeling. Like it's not like you cannot stop yourself from being angry or whatever. You can only just not show it, but you will still be that feeling. You'll
Yeah.
have it. Whether the other people see it or not, it's still there. And I find that it's healthier to just do it, just like let yourself feel the feeling, and then you know whatever comes with it. If you have to like scream and cry, whatever, scream and cry. But like honestly, like I think the other way is what I noticed. And if there are any British people here, for example, I'd love to hear what you think. But I noticed, like in Britain, like people repress. There's a lot of toxic positivity here, and people repress their feelings,
Yeah.
and there is a much higher level of depression and social anxiety here than anywhere that I've been before. Like it's not the same level of repression that we have like in Europe, like not in France, not in Spain, not in Romania, not in Italy. In the UK, people just repress a lot, and I think it's got to do with that because they can only show a brave face, they can only show when things are good. And unfortunately, life is long and complicated. You're going to go through very many states of mind. Like it's not
Yeah.
it's so unrealistic to expect someone to just be like a flat person who only has one feeling, and that's the joyful person, and
Yeah.
that's it. Like we are complex beings with multiple facets. And
It just fits so perfectly into the system that's around us right now, though. It's capitalism is like always feel bad about yourself, but always be striving to present the most perfect version, which is like buy these tweezers, buy this shampoo. Like you always want to feel bad about yourself, but always be inspired to fix it because the world needs to see you well. So you always have that like drive to keep buying, keep buying. Okay, that's one thing. The internet, it seems like these people who are positive, like, or even like a Logan Paul or a Jake Paul, like we were talking about, they're not positive necessarily, but they're safe in that way where they're not saying, at least in the beginning, controversial things. It's all about like jumping off a roof. That's like, I don't know his politics at that point, like when they first blew up. And I feel like it fits right into that. The algorithm, it's like, oh, you have a podcast about being a mom and a dad? Okay, yeah, let's like skyrocket that up to success and monetize it because we can sell Pampers on it. Like it has to fit into the system that exists, and showing up with a brave face makes the whole system work. If you're pissed off and negative and you let that like continue on and you show that to the world, other people might go, you know what, I'm also pissed off. And that's when like, I'm sure as like the revolution start and people get angry enough that they start to make change. And that's like not what, leaders at the top want whatsoever. So it's like, everyone just pretend you're happy. And if you're not happy, pretend. And then we'll all get along perfectly.
And that's a huge discussion actually, about who benefits from that. Because at the end of the day, when you're not happy about something, when you're not happy, for example, in the country that you live in, or with the government that's leading you, or whatever, you're gonna demand change.
Yeah.
You're gonna revolt. You're gonna demand change, and they don't want you to do that. So they'll have it a lot better when people are just
Yeah.
brainwashed
Honky
into
dory.
pretending they're happy, because then they don't have to change anything and they're still in power, and they're
Brainwash
still
yourself.
profiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a genuine thing. When you're unhappy, you want to change it, you want to fix it, you want to um really, literally, like I think I said this story before, but like the French literally had their king um murdered. They cut his head off. They were unhappy with the monarchy to the point where they cut his head off. Like, that's the thing, when you're unhappy and you're gonna revolt,
Yeah.
the people in power are gonna suffer. They don't want to see you revolt. They don't want to see you be negative and like, because that means you're starting to demand things, and that means that they're gonna stop profiting, and they're gonna probably be on their way out. So there's a lot, but there's also like a lot of instances where I think sometimes like people are taking it too far, I would say, and I think maybe this is a great kind of transition to the Brittany Dawn situation.
Story. Yes.
We have another Brittany Dawn moment, you guys. You didn't even know. This is a surprise.
This is all one big lead up, one big winding road back to Brittany Dawn.
Exactly.
All
She's our
roads lead back to
latest favorite influencer.
B Dawn. Badon.
We have Brittany Dawn has become a drama channel, you guys. She has opinions. She's talking about viral things just like we do. So we welcome her into the drama community. So yeah, let's hear. I will say right off the bat, there's a lot of we've already watched a video before in one of our previous videos, where she was commenting on being canceled, and I feel like this has some of those vibes. So, but let's just watch it. Let's see what you guys think.
Okay.
actually.
And Dante Bowie, is that how he pronounces his name? I had never heard of this guy
Bowie.
before. Bow. He's like a Christian artist who is a member of this band Maverick City Music.
Yeah, except not anymore apparently.
Okay. And which was a Christian leaning or a Christian rap, or was it even rap, or was it just he hung out with the rap? Well, we'll watch it. But basically the controversy was that, because in the video she sort of is responding to the backlash against him. Should I read this
she
first?
has an opinion.
Yeah.
I actually hate to say that I agree with her on this one. I never thought I would agree with Brittany Dawn. The dawn of me not agreeing.
Dawn
with
of a new
Brittany
era.
Dawn is here.
Well, I have to say though, you're canceled. I take back everything I said.
Unfollow me.
Well,
Unfollow me.
Unfollow me.
yes, unfollow me, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
But
That
at this
your
point, I
take.
wouldn't even blame you guys if you do unfollow me, because no, I actually think she's got a good take. Let's listen.
This is my response to Cam already preemptively agreeing with Brittany Dawn.
This is just stupid.
Okay, wait, let me just read this so people get the background, because I was kind of like lost a little bit just watching it because I didn't know who anyone was. So a 5-time Grammy nominated artist, Dante Bowie, has apologized for behavior that caused a break in his relationship with popular Christian band Maverick City Music. This platform of success I enjoy is a blessing that is both gifted to me and shared with you, my faith community, family, friends, supporters, and fellow artists, Bowie wrote in a post on Instagram. I sincerely apologize for the impact of my behavior and that it has offended many people on the platform we share together. As reported earlier this week, Maverick City Music put a pause on its relationship with Bowie due to behavior inconsistent with our core values and beliefs. The band did not give details about Bowie's behavior. However, several YouTube and TikTok accounts shared video of Bowie reportedly, not repeatedly, reportedly on a party bus dancing and singing with Bad Bunny. This is the big indiscretion. He's hanging out with Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is a popular singer. Yeah. Bad Bunny is a popular singer whose lyrics are sexually graphic and violent. The secular performer made headlines a couple months ago for kissing a male dancer during a live MTV Music Video Awards. Woo!
I mean, scandalous.
So scandalous.
Absolutely scandalous. What, a rapper has like sexually explicit content? No.
Not even it's his. He's friends with him or was spotted with someone who has explicit content.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how dare he?
Yeah.
It's like, what world are? I have no idea who You gotta be disconnected from reality to not realize, like, obviously music now is like that. There's so not even, it's not even rap music, it's just old music. It's the culture and the century that we live in. Like, what is
Yeah.
what is this, like, attempt to return to the 1800s? Like, no, thank you.
Welcome to
They had a lot
America.
of
We're going
diseases
back
back
in time, erasing people's rights like we're 1905. Okay. It says others posted a portion of an interview circulated on social media several months ago where Bowie said he was looking forward to seeing Lil Nas X perform at the Grammys. Lil Nas X is an openly LGBT
Imagine
rapper.
getting under fire for saying, I look forward to seeing this performance. Jesus.
Unfollow me.
Wait, who said this?
Rachel.
Unfollow me.
What,
was-
is she also going, like, is she just like channeling Pancake Gate?
Well, you got a lot to catch up on, Cam, okay? Both me and Mac have discovered a unlisted video from our good friend Kathy Heller. Oh, I sent it to you already. And I did a whole thing about
Yeah,
it.
but I've not actually had time to watch it.
Yeah, that's where that comes from. She's like, if you don't love me, unfollow me. Don't write me mean things, which I agree with. Like,
So, okay,
yeah,
who came up with it first, Dave or Rachel?
Rachel did.
Oh,
Dave
so
stole it
Dave
from her.
plagiarized even Pancake Gate? Mm-hmm. Wow, well done, Dave.
Good job. Hold on. Good job, Dave.
Yeah.
That's what you get. Oh, Davey. Here's a good one. This is my new favorite soundbite, one of them. Dave, what did you want everyone to think of you and Rachel?
They truly have it all.
My God. I mean, that's probably true. You know. He did have it all, though. And
They
this is
truly
where
have it all.
I'm a little sad for him. He lost it all because of that toxic self-help industry. So
Okay, so this is the horrible indiscretions that this guy has done. He's liked somebody. He's been in the same vehicle as someone who has different thoughts than him, and he has said he's looking forward to someone who has different thoughts than him. Okay.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Okay, so this is so he got released. They're pausing the relationship with him because of these horrible things that he's done, and Brittany Dawn has something to say about it. And Cam agrees with her because she's a Britney stan. That's what I heard. Okay, here we go.
This whole Dante Bowe Maverick City.
Oh, hold on. So low. Brittany, speak
Oh,
up.
hi, Savvy. Hello.
Thing has me fired up, and probably not for the reasons you think I'm going to say. There is a lot of
Can you
stuff
hear
going
it?
around right now that is incredibly
kinda
disheartening to
low.
see as a Christian. Pointing fingers and shaming because it is now
So freaking low. Okay, try. I have them like blasted up. I'll mute myself.
this whole Dante Bowe Maverick City music thing has me fired up, and probably not for the reasons you think I'm going to say. There is a lot of stuff going around right now that is incredibly disheartening to see as a Christian. Pointing fingers and shaming because it is now the cool thing to cancel someone. And while I'm not here to condone the things that he's done, I am here to remind every Christian watching this that as his brother and sister in Christ, we are called to show him the same grace that Jesus Christ shows us every single day. We live in a graceless society that is so quick to toss someone to the curb, that is so quick to cancel someone with the most disgusting agenda. Let's not forget what you did yesterday that you had to repent for this morning. We have to do better, Christians. We are biblically called higher than to do what everyone else is already doing in this world. We are in this world, not of it. And while I'm on that tangent, let me just say this. If you are exalting a man, a group, or anything of that nature before you are exalting the King of Kings, that's an idol. As Christians, we have to stop putting these people on pedestals because the only one worthy of sitting on the throne is the King himself. People are going to let you down. People are going to fall short. For those who are saying they can no longer listen to Maverick City music, canceling them and throwing them under the bus, where is the grace in that? Where is Jesus in that? For all have fallen short of the glory of God, including you, including me. Dante Bowe, I hope you see that there are Christians praying for you, interceding on your behalf, and here to extend an olive branch of grace. And while I don't agree with the things that you've done, I hope you see this, that Jesus still sits on the throne. I hope you see in the middle of the comments and cancel culture that Jesus is moving in the middle of it all. I hope you see that your sin is no different than mine or anyone else's, and I hope you see grace and go running to the foot of the cross. And Christians, when things like this go down, the world watches how we respond as followers of Christ. Are we being the hands and feet of Jesus, or are we jumping on the cancel culture bandwagon mentality to feel better about ourselves and our sins? Because nowhere in the Bible does it say to cancel someone for falling into sin. It says to love them, show them grace, and forgive them.
Okay, so that's a lot of Jesus talk for me, but
You said you liked everything she said. You said it was amazing and there was no flaws.
yeah. But like seriously though, aside from the part where aside from the Bible chat, like take 80%, throw it out. Aside from the part where she's like, we shouldn't be canceled all the time, you know, because that's very like I got canceled and it sucks. Aside from that, I do think she's got a point. Like, what the hell? But also aside from the fact that she's making it sound like this gigantic issue that just happened. So I'm like, okay,
Unfollow me.
just tone it down because seriously, like it's not really that big a deal. They're talking as if like this gigantic sin has been committed. Like, calm down, everybody. Like he just likes a rapper. He looks forward to a show. It's really not like that deep.
Yes. I mean, I'm confused, I guess, by the whole thing. She's like, Christians, like, yeah, I disagree with everything he did, but like we shouldn't tell other people that, because other religions are going to look to us and see what they, you know, how we handle this. It's like, aren't you the ones who canceled him in the first place? It's not that like people are agreeing with the cancellation. Like, you canceled him, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know if she did it, but like, yeah, the Christians, I guess. But
the group themselves.
Yeah, but I think this is such a non-issue that I'm shocked that this has been made like public and it's like a thing, and this person is leaving a band for it. Like, I'm just shocked to the core that you can tweet that I look forward to a show and then suddenly your band throws you out. Like, that's not.
It's very Dave Ramsey. This band is the Dave Ramsey of music, apparently.
Dave Ramsey? How so?
Dave Ramsey, you can't have sex with your boyfriend if you work for him, if you're not married. You get fired.
I think that's got to be illegal.
You would think, but Dave thinks differently. Dave's like, no, I could fire you if you have green eyes. He has said that.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I mean, seriously, like, what exactly? I feel like this either isn't the full story and something did happen, or what they broke up. Bands do, you know, break up sometimes. But like, unless something did happen, but that's not real. Like, that cannot be possibly the full story, that he just tweeted something and he had a picture with like a rapper and that is enough to.
This is what he said. This is his response to it. Isn't, okay, not to like be funny, but isn't that like Dante's Inferno? Doesn't that mean like hell in some way? The name?
Dante.
Isn't that like Diablo Dante? Maybe he was set up for failure. I don't know.
There is something there. Hold on.
No chance. Okay, this is what he said. In the meantime, this platform of success I enjoy is a blessing that is both gifted to me and shared with you, my faith community, family, friends, supporters, and fellow artists. I sincerely apologize for the impact of my behavior and that it has offended many people on the platform we share together. This experience has been a very real reminder of the importance of being incredibly intentional with how I utilize and engage with the tools social platforms provide. Throughout this process, I have received wise counsel which influenced my decision to take a step back and reflect about my actions so that I may recommit to living in the purpose God has for my life. I want to say thank you to Maverick City Music for their continued support now and always throughout this process. They have remained by my side, and for what I am truly grateful. With love, Dante.
Yeah, and fair enough. But the thing is, I feel like
What did you do?
this is a non-issue to me.
Yeah,
And I feel
100%.
like it's been turned into a thing. And I kind of don't understand because I feel like Brittany Dawn, as much as, she's problematic, she does have a point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, isn't Christianity all about being forgiving and just, you know what I mean? Like, the
Only when
whole-
it's your side, though. It's only forgiving when it's on your side of things. But that's my own interpretation of it. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But seriously, that's what I feel. I feel like isn't it, you go to the church, you confess to the priest in order to have
That's
your
only
sins
Catholic.
forgiven, like all of that like clears you of sin. You're like, there's a whole thing about forgiveness and like how.
That's Catholics. Catholics are more, I mean, they're about forgiveness, but the confession part is only Catholic and the priests are only Catholic. Evangelical, which I believe is what Brittany Dawn is, they're very much more like Christians need to be in charge is sort of like by any means necessary, sort of their message, especially of America. That's what
Catholics also would love to be in charge. So.
Yeah, less so though. I feel like I don't hear much. I mean, there's definitely complaints, but it's very insular to the Catholics. They're not like actively recruiting every day. I don't think as much as like the Hillsong churches of the world are. But maybe that's my perspective. I mean, I grew up Catholic, so I feel like they're no big deal. But maybe that's because I'm biased. I don't know.
I think it's just like on this side of the world, there's been a lot of battles of religion for a very long time. The Catholics
True.
did a lot of things, like they burnt people. So
yeah, no, I'm not saying that they're perfect, but at least in this sense, I think Brittany Dawn is speaking like prosperity gospel, which is more like Christians believe in Jesus, so therefore they'll be blessed with riches on earth, and you want to have a lot of money as a Christian because you can give back to the church more, and it's less about the rituals, it's more about what today puts Christians ahead and in charge. That's my take on it, but I don't know.
Yeah, what I wonder is who's pumping money into these churches. That's my because
Who's not?
They don't just happen, you know what I mean? They need to have money in order to thrive. And someone is, because at least in Europe, you should see the freaking insane cathedrals and churches. Those were not made with like, a little money. They had gigantic money. And
You
I'm
want to
like,
see one of my favorite preachers online? I'm sure there's more. Hold on. Real Talk Kim.
Oh, you had a point about Dante, by the way. Dante Alighieri is the writer of the Inferno.
See, he was screwed from birth. Don't give him the name Dante if you don't want him to stand next to Bad Bunny, okay? Yeah, and that's a great point, what Mandy's saying. In the United States, all churches, all religious organizations are tax-free. So you don't have to pay taxes, and you get tax breaks when you give to a church. So there's a lot of incentive to be able to have a religious organization and be very successful monetarily. I've been waiting to fucking bring this lady up. She's not the worst ever. There's like there's actually, I think it still exists. It's like Preachers and Sneakers is another great Instagram that shows like all of these preachers with like, and pastors and ministers, whatever, in like, Gucci and, $10,000 outfits, suits, and they're on stage getting Porsches from their parishioners. And here's just one that like pisses me off for some reason. She's a pastor at a small church in Georgia, and every single video essentially she's wearing like Gucci, and she's got a G-Wagon, and she wears all these like very high fashion, not high fashion, but like Chanel, Louis Vuitton bags, traveling, staying at the like fanciest hotel. She's a pastor. And she flaunts this life as if this is like, you know, Jesus chose me to be rich. Meanwhile,
Yeah, of course. Of course.
yeah,
And
she's
also
living tax
chose
free.
Jesus because she would be rich.
It's
So,
crazy. It's insanity to me that people are not like torching her house down. Like, this is what she's posting of herself.
wow.
Where's
That is
Jesus
not
in
very
this?
modest of her.
Yeah, where's the Jesus in this?
Aren't you meant to be modest as a Christian?
I mean, she's covered up, but
I feel like I'm more of a Christian than her.
I don't know. Like, she can say whatever she wants and
And
do
I'm
whatever
an
she wants,
atheist.
but yeah, for the
the
record. Yeah. But it's just like, okay, is this the one? Look at that. That's like, you know, a $5,000 suit probably. She's like, oh, here, guys, I'm here to tell you about Jesus. Jesus was not very into money, from what I remember from my Bible study back in the day.
Wow.
Jesus was not very much about
It
materialism.
was all about modesty. That's what I know about. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. All of the religions are about like modesty. I don't
It's
know of any
changed.
religion that is not about being modest and just like, not
Nowadays, though,
flaunting your wealth.
nowadays it's changed. The evangelical, like, non-denominational churches have really changed things, and it's made it dangerous for people because now there's nothing to give up. Like, if you become a priest, it's bullshit. Okay, let's just say that. But when you join the priesthood, you have to give up sex, you have to be celibate, you have to give up all of your wealth, and you have to, in some cases, depending, well, I guess you're more nuns, but some of them take like vows of silence. Like, that's how serious they are sacrificing their life for God. Okay, so a lot of people are turned off by that. Like, well, I want to live in a mansion. I want to do like normal stuff. So then this new sect of like Christianity is you can be rich even more than you could be working at, a normal job, and get praised for being the deliverer of Jesus's word and have no taxes. Like, it's crazy.
But my question is, how do they do it though? Like, you can just set up your own church? Can I just go and like file
Yes.
as a church LLC? CAMS?
Yes.
What would they call it? CAMS?
Atheist Club. ACA. I'm like getting like
CAMS
heat rash.
Inferno.
I'm upset about
CAMS
it.
Inferno LLC church.
You can.
Like, what do you do? You file it with the government?
Yeah. Yes.
You can just make a church.
Yes. There's obviously things you have to show. Like, there has to be a certain number.
YouTube channel as a church.
I don't know. You have to have certain regulations, but
Are
it's not
officially a church.
It's like a dozen people you have to have that are under it. There has to be certain things that you meet in a certain time or something. Like, there's certain requirements, but they're not like ridiculous. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, Cringe-Fluencers is a church now.
Yeah, Kris Jenner has a
decided.
church. It's a way to funnel money.
Scams.
Scams. That's good. I can't believe you even thought about that with Cam scam.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
I'm trying to find like this. I don't hear it anymore, see it anymore. The Preachers in Sneakers. It was such a good Instagram. Oh, it's Preachers in Sneakers. Okay, here. That's crazy.
117,000 followers. Wow.
Well, this is against them. This is sort of like my side of things, where it's like, let's out these people. So this person actually like goes, thanks, Megan, goes and like follows preachers and then shows like how expensive their outfits are. So like this one.
Oh, I love this kind of like Instagram
Exposure.
accounts. God, my brain. Sorry. I feel like I don't know, but yeah, there's another one that I follow who does this. And they do it with the self-help gurus, and I love it. I love to see them exposed like that.
Yeah, I'm all for it. It's like, come on, man. Like, okay, $160 jacket. Like, okay, that's not that crazy. But if you were truly in it for God, for Jesus, would you be interested in like designer clothes? I just think not. But I think the real reason that it's appealing is because you get to dress up like this and be better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that. I know a lot of people think it's okay. I don't. I think it's completely ridiculous. Tax yourself. Like if this is where the money's going, that is unfair. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and what do they call it? Expenses? I just expense like
Yeah.
a $500 like shoe or something.
Well, they got to be on stage. So they get probably a wardrobe fee or whatever, like a wardrobe allowance. He's got to buy Balenciagas, And the bigger the church, the bigger same thing. Like, okay, the Justin Bieber guy, the guy from Hillsong, he had like all of these, designer clothes. He had the hair, he had the muscles. He was hanging out with Justin Bieber, and he's a cheater too. It's very disheartening.
What a shocker.
Yeah.
What a shocker.
Anyways.
These churches are bizarre. I don't know if that's possible here because there aren't any aside from the major church, the Protestant.
I think it's a United States issue, I would
Okay.
imagine. And there's this whole thing I saw on TikTok the other day. It's like the 7, and someone probably can correct me in the comments, but it's like the 7 hills of Christianity or something. It's like the new idea, or maybe not new, but it's the idea that Christians to lead a nation correctly need to be in all these influences of power. So it's like 7 of them. It's like the 7 mountains that they're trying to get to the top of, which is like media, school, healthcare, and like a couple other ones. And I was like, oh my God, like it's so true, because every like major, not every, but a lot of the major hospitals are run by Christian organizations in some way, shape, or form, whether it's Catholic or Christian. Like almost all of them. Like even the huge ones are religiously affiliated. Education is becoming slowly, like the big move is to start to go over into school choice and to have, money be funneled to parents to be able to put their kid in Christian academies or Christian schools as opposed to public schools. Like media, there was back in the day the televangelism was huge, and before that whole thing blew up. So it's like it's sort of working.
It's going backwards. Like over here on this side, we're making like bars and gay clubs in churches, and you guys are like going the other way.
No abortion rights, taking away Supreme Court decisions from, 40 years ago. It's crazy.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
The government is the biggest scam. I should do an
Yes.
episode on scams. I heard
Cam
you guys.
scams. I love it.
I feel like that's like Dante. If I call my channel Cam Scams, like I'll be canceled for doing a scam of sorts, and then everyone will be like, haha, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, school choice is a huge issue that is pretty close to my interest level, because when I was in journalism, I worked on a piece on the video side. I didn't do any of the research side, but I just helped them make their news story into a video. And I got to go to all these interviews and stuff. And in Florida, at least, there's millions, if not billions of dollars that are being funneled through taxes into these schools that are run out of like strip malls. And the people who run them, there's no qualifications at all. You can be like, there's like a 21-year-old principal, and there's like no education requirements whatsoever. So it's a giant scam that's being perpetrated by the government, basically, or through the government, through taxes. And we did a whole expose about it, and people were like, unbothered. Don't care. Yeah. Or they're like, well, I'd rather have my kids learning from a Christian woman than from a woke, leftist. It's like, okay, whatever.
Well,
So, yeah.
I mean, if you have money to get your kids Gucci belts, and because if they're gonna learn from that woman, it's gonna be a bit of an expensive child to raise.
Apparently.
That is so interesting to me. I just met like another American, not the one that we already discussed yesterday, and a woman, and she was telling me about like the political situation in the states and stuff like that, and she thinks that Trump will be reelected.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, that's probably accurate.
Yeah, I hope not. I don't know what to say. I can't vote, so
Yeah, I can vote, but that doesn't matter much.
that's a whole other thing. But yeah.
I cannot, you know, I mean, I'm saying I cannot wait, but like, I really hate election season, which starts a year before. So we're almost there. Basically, 2023 is going to be a campaign year up until 2024 election, and it's going to be a nightmare. An absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
So get ready.
Well, at least you got some student loan forgiveness, right?
Hopefully, I haven't gotten it yet, but I hope. I did get Pell Grants, so I could be fully scot-free.
Yes, you are not problematic.
I'm not problematic. What will I learn from my mistakes of taking out thousands of dollars of student loans?
Nothing!
Yeah.
Right, Taro? Yeah, I mean, it's a huge issue, and I do feel badly for people who already paid them off or have like are going to be taking loans now and won't get the forgiveness. Like, I do understand both sides, but I am not going to not celebrate my own luckiness for once, you know?
Yeah,
So-
no, absolutely. But I mean, I think it's just such a great step in the right direction, even if it's like not there, yet in terms of like being put in place in a way. Obviously, these things are probably hard to implement in the first place, but it probably will take a while to just get, the
Logistically.
right system in place for it. But at least something's starting, and maybe stuff like this is what is gonna keep Trump out of office.
If Joe Biden can stay alive just long enough, I don't know.
Or his
That's
vice president, if he dies, his vice president, and I love her.
Kamala.
Oh gosh, you guys don't tell me she's problematic. Is she problematic?
I mean, they're all problematic. Joe Biden's problematic in my opinion. Every politician that's on a party is problematic in some ways. I don't. Just Taro's
I
flipped.
mean, yeah, but like you gotta pick. You don't have options, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We're working with what you've got. So, I
Yeah.
mean, AOC would be great in my opinion, but she's too young, isn't she?
She is young.
You have to be 79 to.
You gotta be 87 to run.
You've got to be on your deathbed, and then you can be.
You gotta be a white man also, or half white. In Obama's case, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not, and I don't like. It's not that I don't like politics. I don't like the current politics, how it works. It's all money based. It's like, oh, your dad's name's Bush, you're Bush. Oh, you're Clinton, you're Clinton. Like, it's the family run politics. It's very hard to care as a citizen because you have no power. You get two choices. One is god awful. One is better than that. Like, that's how I see about it. That's how I think about it. And it sucks, but it's like, well, I'll do my civil duty, but, the best civil duty is jury duty, which I've already said before. You want to see my case? I think I told you about it, but hold on. Orlando.
Yeah, Bernie it was not his time. I think it was a time he was not on his deathbed yet. So
Well, people said they're like, he's too old. He's too old. It's like Joe Biden's like a year younger. What the hell? God.
Yeah.
I want the ghost of what was the one they were meeting in Dallas over? Oh my God, Robert Kennedy or JFK. JFK and Trump are gonna run together. So when that happens, I'll vote for him.
Oh. Okay, so wait, what's going on with the with Kamala?
I don't
Why
know.
is she problematic?
I mean, she's not like crazy. She hasn't really done a whole lot since she's gotten in office. She's been kind of like quiet because I think that she's been, thinking maybe her time is next. So don't ruffle feathers too much. But I don't know. I don't want to ever look at somebody and be like, oh, you are this party. You're perfect and nothing's wrong with you. Like, I just find that to be worse. So,
Yeah. I mean, fair enough, but nobody's gonna be perfect, just like Dante here. So, but I think what is important is just to like fight the good fight, So
yeah, I agree.
obviously there's the problematic people who fight the bad fight, like Trump, and then he keeps winning somehow. I don't know. I don't know how this is possible. Like, this is beyond me. But
It makes sense. If you lived here, it would make sense. A lot of people think that way, the way he does.
oh my God, you talked about immigrants. Oh, I'm gonna do a reaction to that. Oh my God, I'm gonna become a political channel.
I know, that's why I don't want to say anything, because I don't know enough to like really make an educated statement about anything. So I don't know. Like, I think she's fine, but again, I don't hear from her very much.
Wait, hold on. She's been involved with MLMs? Oh
Kamala?
my God. Okay. No, I liked her. What's going on? Oh, come on. Everyone is involved with like fucking MLMs. I'm so over these MLMs. I can't stand them.
There's one senator who is like very involved, and I say very like lightly, but Kristen Sinema, she was getting like donations from the Direct Sellers Association. She was getting stuff from, I think, Amway, like 40,000 here, 20,000 here. Yeah.
I think this is how MLMs are still legal. I think because of that.
100%. Yes, of course.
Because there's no way that their business model is like working or, you know.
I know. Yeah.
Kamala's husband defended Herbalife. Wow.
Great. Did I ever tell you about the time I got tricked into going into one of those things? Herbalife Club?
No.
It was during the pandemic, and I think I've said this before. I love this class. It's called, what's it called now? Strong Nation. It's called Strong Nation now, but it was called Zumba Strong before, and it's like boot camp mixed with like a little bit of choreographed dancing. My favorite class. I used to do it twice a week. This sweet lady is the trainer, and I would go twice a week to sculpt my body. Just kidding. But they closed the gym during the pandemic, so there was only these and this was like 2021 time, so it was like sort of people were opening gyms again, but the classes still weren't going on. Anyways, I really wanted to do the class, and there's this smaller gym that started advertising it like, oh, we do Zumba Strong, and I was like, okay, let's go. And it's a fucking Herbalife club. So I did, and I had to Venmo the trainer as opposed to like pay at the front desk to like enter and use, go to the gym. She's like, just Venmo me. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I did the class once. It was fine, and then I left immediately. But they had all the products in the back, like I could see them, and they had little stools where you could like hang out and have a smoothie. And I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, probably better for everyone, including yourself.
Yeah.
Hello, Taro.
She's stretching. She's been so, I think she was a little scared of the hurricane. So she was like hanging out with us very closely. Now she's like, just in case, I want to be close to you.
Yeah, she's very sweet.
Anyways, we never talked about Adam Levine. Should we?
Oh my God, let's do it briefly.
The human Chipotle bag.
Yeah, oh my God, I saw that. I was like, this is spot on. Like, he's literally got the same patterns on it. It's hilarious.
I know. Okay, so if you're not up to date, basically similar to our friend Ned, and not so much. I don't think Adam Levine has sort of like included his wife and child in a music video before, but they don't have a podcast together, I don't believe. So I think it becomes a little bit less of an issue for me. Like, I don't agree with anything he's done. I think it's all messed up and whatever. But at the same time, it's like, he's a musician. He's not trying to sell you a product of his perfect marriage as his only offering, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like his job is not to speak on behalf of happy marriages.
Yeah, he's not like, hey guys, it's me
But
from
also,
Maroon 5.
It's still disgusting that he did it.
Well, yeah, he claims no, but whatever. I was just thinking, Maroon 5 sounds like the name of a family vlog channel. Hey guys,
I'm gonna come out with this soon in the next year.
Yeah, we're the Maroon 5. We are from Arkansas, and we have 5 crazy kids, and we have a minivan. Sponsor us. Oh God. Okay, so here he is, Adam Levine. He is from Maroon 5, which is a band. Okay, so this woman gets on TikTok. She's a model, apparently, and a Texas grad, Longhorn. Woo. So she comes out fully made up with her ring light,
just gonna
to say like what the truth is. And the way it came out was because, and I think this is the most horrific part of this whole thing. The cheating and stuff, horrible, but okay, it's sort of like almost like typical at this point. Like the story is sort of, I've heard it a million times. The weird part where it becomes more interesting to me is that Adam Levine, messaged this woman allegedly again, who, he had been flirting with, or she says cheated on his wife with. I'm going to name my upcoming son or daughter. I think it was only going to, if it was the son, after you. Sumner.
Oh yes,
that was the part.
This was so bizarre. This was all over TikTok like a week ago.
That's why it all came out, and that's why everyone else came. Like the other women came forward, and she, because her story is like, we were cheating and this and that, but like the weird part, the why it's important now is because he messaged her and said, I want to name my son after you, which to me is like crossing 17,000 lines of fucked up. Like, it's already fucked up that you've cheated, apparently, allegedly, but then you're going to name your son after the mistress in which you were doing that? Weird.
Yeah, that is weird. That is very, very bizarre.
Yeah. So that came out of this scandal. And then the second part was like she showed more text messages, and that's what's been the meme like circulating for a while. And it's like his flirting style where he's like, I don't know, he's like, oh, I want to see your booty. That's amazing, or fuck, that's crazy. Like his style of flirting is very odd, at least through text.
Okay,
so she's going to show some stuff. Yeah.
I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off because I've retaken this like 10 times now. Essentially, I was having an affair with a man who's married to a Victoria's Secret model. At the time, I was young, I was naive, and quite frankly, I feel exploited. I wasn't in the scene like I am now, so I was definitely very easily manipulated. Maroon 5 is practically elevator music at this point, so I'm sure you know who Adam Levine is.
Okay, so here's some of the text. It says, it is truly unreal how fucking hot you are. Like, it blows my mind.
You know who Adam Levine.
Okay, and then she says, I
think the same.
I think the same.
Yes, I am.
About yourself, or?
I am. Thank you. You're so right.
Seeing you in person, I was like, I'm fucked. You are 50 times hotter in person. Is that good?
And so am I.
And so am I. Ha 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 ha.
He's not full of himself at all.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I didn't think the something attraction could be intensified, something like that. This plane is so fucking something. Holy shit. Sorry to something.
Venus.
Yeah, definitely your own stuff.
But
yeah, I don't know if she's gonna move again, but okay.
Adam and I were seeing each other for about a year. After I stopped talking to him over, a period of months, this is how he came back into my life.
I don't know who Balin is. Poor Balin's like, it hurts worse today when I drive.
What?
Balin, what's going on? What hurts worse?
Are you okay, Balin?
Balin. Justice for Balin. So couldn't you have like swiped away on those before you like posted this to the entire internet? Okay. Okay, serious question. This is from Adam Levine. Okay, serious question. I'm having another baby, and if it's with boy, I really want to name it Sumner. You okay with that? Dead serious.
I feel like whenever somebody says like serious question, I'm dead serious. True story. I swear this is true.
It's never true.
You know what I mean? I feel like they're lying. This was definitely not a serious question.
Either way, it's fucked up even to like joke about it. Like, when is it enough? Like, that you got away with the cheating already? You got to now like have this weird story going on?
I think with these like famous, super famous guys, and not just the men, just the super famous in general, the super celebs and stuff. I think they live in a very different reality than most of us.
I agree.
I don't think that we can apply critical thinking on them. I don't think, like common sense is a thing that they have ever experienced. So I just think it's the conversation. I just can't be like, I can't even imagine someone like Adam Levine be like normal.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, maybe it's not okay if I name my child after my fiance, after my lover
Mistress.
that I cheated on my wife with. Like, I can't even blame him because like, this is exactly what I would expect from a celebrity.
Yeah, it's just weird. Sumner is kind of an interesting name, but I don't know. Wacky. Okay, there's more.
He said, okay, serious question. I'm having another baby, and if it's a boy, I really want to name it Sumner. You okay with that? Dead serious.
Good point. Good point. They could be in an open relationship. That's very true, and they seem to be fine now. There seems to be they're staying together, so it seems. So maybe this is like her own weird take on things. But I guess the way that this woman claims is that he was like, oh, my marriage is in trouble. It's over, essentially. He's not like, we're in an open relationship, like there's no problems here. He made it seem like they had broken up, from what I understand, but that's a good point.
Right, yeah.
Okay, here's more of the memes now.
I was like, I'm in hell. Like, I have to be in hell at this point. I mean, my morals were unknowingly compromised. I was completely manipulated. I wanted to handle this privately. I never wanted to come forward because obviously I know the implications that come with doing what I do, making money the way I do, and being an Instagram model. So being tied to a story like this, it's like, I know the stereotypes.
It's going to help my career immensely. Okay.
Yeah.
I had sent some screenshots recklessly to a few friends I thought I trusted, and one of them had attempted to sell to a tabloid. So here I am.
I want to become famous on TikTok now.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that, but I don't know if it matters. And then her second thing was here.
I just wanted to make a part.
Okay, so this is sort of in relation to the my thing is like, okay, it's no secret he has been married for a decade. The only victim here is his wife and his children. Okay, now she's responding to that.
I agree with that though.
Part two, I feel like it's obviously necessary. Hindsight is 2020. I initially wanted to go in and talk about how remorseful I feel and how embarrassed and disgusted I am with myself, but I didn't want people to look at it and think like, oh, she's...
Okay, here's a crazy thing that is so fucking out of left field that I even feel bad saying it. Okay, you see how she's wearing a blue shirt in this one and a pink shirt in the other one? Maybe it's like which video gets more likes is the gender reveal. And this is the new way that celebrities are like revealing the gender of their child with internet scandal.
Yeah.
Guys, it's gonna be a girl.
I'm just gonna rip.
Got 25 million likes.
Yeah, you can call her Sumner.
You can't call her Sumner because the pink video got more engagement.
Better throw the kid away and make a boy because the blue one got more views. So.
It's like we can't set fire to California with our fire launcher gender reveal anymore because we'll get in trouble. But now we're gonna take our gender reveal to the next level. I don't know. Okay, sorry. Let's go back to it.
And disgusted I am with myself.
Oh, God damn it. Sorry.
Disgusted I am with myself, but I didn't want people to look at it and think like, oh, she's playing the victim. But in reality, it had the opposite effect. Something I now realize I didn't touch on enough was the fact that one of my friends had attempted to sell it, which I realized yesterday whenever they reached out to me for comment. And so I was completely frantic. That is why that video is, for one, just so all over the place, and two, why I didn't touch on some of the things that I initially would have liked. So in this video, I would like to address some of those things. I only came forward because I wanted to kill whatever story the tabloid had. The most important part that I did definitely gloss over is the fact that I was under the impression that their marriage was over. I believe that they were keeping it quiet to avoid the negative press because, as I had said, I was new to LA. So I just assumed that with celebrities of that caliber that that's just how it was. And that's why I feel exploited, because he knew I believed everything that he said because of my vulnerable position of being new to LA. Also, he was DMing me straight from his verified Instagram account. I didn't have any reason to further question it. But I now realize that that was likely a manipulation tactic of his, just hiding in plain sight. As soon as I had realized that was not the case, I had cut things off with him. In retrospect, I wish I would have questioned things more. I wish it wasn't so naive, but being naive is not an excuse for what I did in the role I played in this. Again, in no way was I trying to gain sympathy, and I fully realize I'm not the victim in this. I'm not the one who's really getting hurt here. It's Beati and her children, and for that, I'm so, so sorry. I just wanted to make...
I'm only laughing because her hair changes every scene. I'm like, how does it change? I guess she's changing in every take.
I would agree with Leah. I think...
Yeah, me too.
It's very...
That's Kitty. Taro.
I don't regret anything.
Taro. Stop, please. Okay.
This is so funny.
This is her new thing now. Leaning against the soundboard.
Nice.
Sorry.
Got a perfect result. I don't regret anything was the perfect soundbite for this. But that's true. I think that a lot, for some reason, our society tends to turn a lot worse against a woman in every situation, even when the woman hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
But in this case, she definitely has done something. So she's definitely guilty to some extent. She clearly didn't do her research. But at the same time, if she was indeed 19, I do kind of sort of understand, because you're such a dumbass at 19. Whatever. But I would agree that he's the one who needs to, he's guilty. It's not her and it's not the wife. It's him. He probably played both of them, because most men, when they cheat, they always say to the lovers, or not always, but oftentimes they always pretend. I said always. Oftentimes they pretend.
In my experience as... No, I'm just kidding.
In my experience as a homewrecker, they all told me. No, but it's true. So many women have stories about men cheating on them, and it's always because, at least for example, in my friend's case,
I put out so much crap. I put out so much crap.
That one over and over. I'm moving it. I'm sorry. Okay.
But
Okay, sorry.
so basically, their excuse is I don't get along with my wife. This happened to me. Now that I think about it, I was in Prague and I met this French dude, um, and basically, I don't remember exactly what happened, but like, we had a date. We walked along the river. We probably kissed, all that stuff. So
Probably. Your memory fails you at that stage.
and then like he went back to France because he was there for like the weekend. And he went back to France, and then he sent me an email to confess that he was married.
Oh.
And to just basically, and he still follows me on Instagram. So
Taro, start working again.
Unfollow me.
Right?
So basically, that was his justification, that his wife, they had problems as a couple, blah blah blah, and that's why he went out with me and all that stuff. But now it's like 7 years later, and I'm like, why do you still follow me?
Does he have a podcast though with his wife?
No, I don't think. But
that's stage 2.
Bullshit that they keep on telling people that they have couple problems. Like, if you have a problem in your couple, break up.
Do they know about it? Does the other side know? Yeah. But because I think it's not okay to have problems in your relationship. It's not okay societally. Like, and no one wants to hear about it, really either. Because you're like, oh, I'm having troubles. They're like, I'm sure you'll get through it. And then people change the subject. It's like, oh, okay. So really the only acceptable, how are you guys doing? Oh, we're doing great. That's all people want to hear. And not to say that's an excuse that's, excusable, but I think that's why it comes off as like this secret thing, or like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're done. We can't have, a relationship. I don't know. It's not like, oh, yeah, it's been obvious they've been having issues for a long time. Because then people think like, oh, the whole relationship's bad if you say that you have problems.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but the thing is, I feel like you have to have some sort of fucking, I don't know, like a backbone, and be like, okay, if this is not working, I'm just gonna get out of it. But so many men just don't. They just stay until the woman is completely fed up, and she just
for the children,
will, do something about it. But like, it's rare, really, that a guy, again, like maybe just like in my experience, rather than like the universal truth, but like I find that most women are the ones who, and I think that I read some studies about this, like it's something like 60% or 70% of the people asking for a divorce are women. And I think that's because the men just stay there, and then they get they have an affair, and they tell the other person that the wife is a bitch and a psycho, and they just
she won't leave me alone,
couple problems, and then they go home and pretend like they are the perfect husband for the night. So it's like,
yeah. You want to hear a crazy story that I was involved in? It is related to this, but not in my own relationship, thankfully. I had a roommate, and it was 3 of us in the house, 3 girls. This is right when I graduated college, and my one roommate was like a friend of a friend. We weren't really close. It was like me and this other girl who knew each other well, and then she was like someone we kind of knew of. Anyways, just all that to say, shortly after we moved in together, she started dating a married guy. And he would come to our house, and he would dress, because they worked in a hospital together, that's how they met. He would come in scrubs and pretend to be at work for like a 12-hour shift, and in reality be at our house for like 12 hours. And at first I didn't care, because I was like, well, that's their business, whatever. What do I give a shit? But then they started having problems, my friend, my roommate, and the guy. And so she started threatening, I'm going to go tell your wife about us if you don't fix XYZ. And she would tell us all this. Like, she would, oh my God, he's being such a jerk, da 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 da. And then one day he shows up with a gun to our house and starts,
This is where America comes in.
Welcome to America, baby. He shows up with a gun he's like, oh, like, I don't know if it was a threat to us. I probably, looking back, but he was like, he claimed that he was there to check the house because he had heard something like a noise or something in the house, and he was, concerned that someone was like hiding, trying to stalk us. But to me, I thought it was, okay, he's showing us all he has a gun, and he's showing her that he has a gun. And, she's threatening to go to the wife, and he's about to have turned out later, he was about to have a baby. Like, the wife just announced like she was pregnant. So he could not have her going and telling. There's more to it. There's even like a car accident and a rekindling at the hospital. My roommate had gotten into a car accident, I suspect on purpose, because she got into his ward it was insane. It was so crazy. I moved out. I moved out. But
in that situation, clearly she knew.
She knew, but he said to her, "Oh, we're working on it, but we're about to break up. We're working through stuff, but I'm just doing it to please her."
And that's why she held it against. It against him because she knew that. And that's where I feel like they're both guilty. But when the lover doesn't know, they're not guilty. In my
no, it's not her fault, and it's her fault in this case because she did know that the wife existed and all that. But other ones, I don't think so. But it's like. You're also threatening all of us because we're witnesses to this guy always over here. We know every story of like you're yeah. And she really thought he was gonna leave his wife for her. Like she 100% believed it. Like he just hasn't done it yet because the wife is such a bitch. That's why he hasn't done it yet. She doesn't let him talk ever. I'm like, okay, whatever. She was like 21 and he was like 30. So.
Oh God. Yeah. I had this. I have tea also.
Spill it, girl. Spill it.
My life rather than a friend of a friend. Maybe I should frame it like that. I know someone who, she was living in Prague, and So I was like, again living in Prague, and I met this guy, this Romanian guy at the Romanian embassy, and he was working there, and. Basically, we hit it off. We went on a few dates for like a month or two, stuff like that. We were just kind of going out, I guess, like unofficially. And then one day, I always had it in my head. I was suspicious. I had this level of suspicion for some reason, and I remember that day because I was. Come on, stop this. This is nonsense. Like, there's no need to be suspicious. This is just my previous experiences, like, making me doubt. He's fine. Like, there's no problem. So on the way to work, I stopped by the embassy and I brought him a coffee and a bagel. So just to say hi and whatever. And then somebody, because I don't know if you guys know, but like at the embassy, like people live in the embassy, like it's like a live-in. So there's quarters. There's living quarters there. You have to live in the embassy, and there's like very strict rules. You can't go there past 10 p.m. Like it's a whole thing. You're not. It's kind of like a paid prison. So, but
it's like a hotel. Is it a hotel? No, it's more like a paid prison situation.
It's like a hotel that you cannot leave.
That you're forced to pay for. Okay.
So I think somebody who knew his wife, and obviously knew his situation, who was living in the embassy, saw me, and they told his wife, and his wife phoned me, and my phone was off. Because I had no battery or something, so my phone was off. She phoned, and then she sent a text message, like this long ass text message, being like, "Did you know he's married and has a kid?" and blah, like all the tea.
And you didn't know, right?
No idea. No.
Yeah.
That was the day when I decided I wouldn't have suspicions. On that day, I found out.
It must just be me.
I phoned him and I was like, "Oh, you're just your wife texted me," and he was like, "Ha ha ha ha." And I'm like, "There's
no, for real.
funny about this. This is your actual wife. She told me you have a child." And he was like, "Oh, wait a minute." And then he just went into panic mode and like. And years later, he messaged me. He found me on Facebook when I had Facebook, and he messaged me and he said they did eventually divorce. So
yeah, right.
Yeah. No,
they got a vow renewal. He's like,
they
we're
have
divorced.
divorced, but like I'm like not even shocked because of course they have divorced because if he's been doing that shit to her, like probably like there came a time when she was done with the bullshit. But
A lot of people choose to stay. I will say, from my experience on the other side with friends who have been like cheated on in that way, they stay. And whether they have kids or not, they seem to think, well, he'll change, which maybe they do, but I don't know.
I don't know because obviously
tough.
like with his, I think in this situation at least with his work being in other countries, because that's why she was not around. She was in Romania, but because he was like working for the embassy, they're constantly sent to other places.
Yeah.
So you're sent as an, I don't know what his job was exactly, but
Assassin. Just kidding.
there's like a team, I guess, working for the embassy, of diplomats, whatever. And I don't think he was a diplomat, but they get sent to a country for like 2 years, and then they get sent to a different country for another 2 years, stuff like that. So he was constantly away.
Yeah.
So that's how I didn't realize because
Yeah.
there was
You
no
have
one
freedom.
around or like so. But that was shocking, and I remember being like, "Oh shit, I'm like amongst adults now," because I was 22 at the time, and I was like, "Fucking hell, we're talking like marriages with people with kids." I was like, "Whoa, okay, this is a lot."
It is weird. I'm 31, and I still am like, oh, you're married with children, like by choice, like oh my god, like I still live in like I have like a 17-year-old mentality. I always talk about that, how I'm like I still feel like, ooh, you like really, you got married young at 30. Like it seems weird to me still, and I know I'm immature and I probably have some sort of mental defect, but like it's still weird to me to think like I'm allowed to be a wife and a mother and that no one's gonna look at me and go, oh, poor thing, like you're just a young teenager. I still have not grown out of that mentality, and I think I'm supposed to have already, but I have not yet.
It's funny because like if you want to adopt a pet, you're gonna have to go through all of these checks and there's a whole thing. But if you want to have a kid, you're like, yeah, sure,
Go for it.
knock yourself out, like it's fine.
Knock yourself up.
Propagate, make taxpayers. Come on.
Okay, that was super late, but I gotta find the buttons. I have to say about all of this, all these people involved.
Scruffy cons.
I
Right?
mean,
They're all scruffy cons.
I mean, that's pretty shit though. Like cheating on your partner is like, I don't know. I never quite understand. I mean, okay, maybe if you're like in a 1 week relationship, but you have no obligation to that person to be exclusive, and not even just a 1 week. If you're with someone and you're not exclusive and everyone is like on board and everyone's aware, that's fine, but the problem is they pretend to be exclusive and then they're not, and that's not
because again, going back to the what's acceptable in society, even when we were talking about this, like we all assume like, oh, you're monogamous with your wife and your husband, or your wife and whatever. Like there is one way to be. The right way is to be like that way, like you're committed to the husband, you're committed to the wife, like that's the expectation of society. So if you veer out of that at all, it's wrong. So if you want to veer out of that, you're never going to come forward with it. You're going to try to hide that as fast as possible, even though you're still going to do it, and millions of people still do it. You hide it, bury it, try to make it not seem what it is, and the deception is what hurts people the most. I think than wanting to go out and do something else. It's the lying that causes the betrayal. Yeah. And that's a societal thing. I'm not saying like, if you were just like, I'm leaving to be with someone else, that would feel better. But I think it's like, oh, I believed in you as this good person, and now your true nature is this other person. Who have I been with this whole time? And that's where it gets like very complicated.
It's very intense, and I think it's very hard to really trust a person after something like that. Like if you have managed to be with someone that cheated on you, I think it takes a whole lot of strength and like I think a lot of work, from both parties or the multiple parties, whatever, to work on rebuilding that trust. But I don't think I would ever be able to get it back. My
Yeah.
experience is a no. Like, I'd rather just just get the fuck out of there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, sometimes and if you, thankfully, I guess, or maybe not thankfully, but like some people who have like very strict religious guidelines, like, if you're Orthodox Jew or something where there's like, you have to have this insular, or you have to have match with someone who's in the religion of you. Like your dating pool, your marriage pool is so much smaller. So the more requirements that you have based on religion or based on your culture or based on your own list, like sometimes that person gets close and they cheat on, like that person gets close to all of your requirements and then they cheat on you or something. It's like finding someone that fits as closely to the things I want is going to be tough. So I'll just stay. I think that's another factor as well.
Oh, yeah. But it's miserable to stay in something like that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I don't.
It's a lot of
I
work
think
to be
it's
okay
just
with it.
Yeah, because I think that, the difficulty, I think, is in the fact that it's such a daily thing, like coming home, meeting this person. It's like, if you
Mhm.
are in a situation that is toxic, or in a situation that is like not what you want, it erodes at you every day, because that's where you live. You come back home from work, you are home in the morning, or like you even work from home or something. Like it's a constant, you can't escape it. So if you're not happy, then I think it's a
Your
recipe
whole
for
life.
disaster. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a really good show on HBO called Couples Therapy. There's two shows on HBO that I like. One's Couples Therapy and one is, oh my God, In Treatment. Now, the Couples Therapy is like a documentary style show where they just literally have like 4 or 5 couples and they do sessions and they just show the sessions on TV essentially. And it's really interesting and good. I think they kind of explain the dynamic between the two of them and what's going on, and then some stay together and some don't. And it's really well done. It's like very slow, but that's how therapy is. So I recommend if you're like these types of topics, and some of them come up with like infidelity, some of them aren't, but it's interesting. And then the In Treatment one, it's a show from Israel. They remade it into an American show, and it's the storyline. It's scripted. The storyline follows a therapist, and some of his patients are couples, some of them are just single people. And it's like their stories, but also his story, and he has his own therapist. Now, the storyline goes completely crazy and goes against like their therapy ethics, but even the fake scenarios that they bring up for me was helpful and like interesting, and the same very long scenes where it's a lot of talking. I like that style. So if you're interested in two new shows, and it changes.
I think I watched In Treatment.
With the
Although
guy?
I don't know how new it is. Yeah. But I watched it like years ago. This is not new,
It's
is it?
old. Well, it's old, and then they updated it to have a new woman that they follow the same way they followed the doctor man, and he's her supervisor, and she's the one. Oh my God, is it Viola Davis? Is that her name? She's like very famous. She was in Orange Is the New Black as the one who, I forget her name. Hold on, and she plays the new therapist. It's not Viola Davis. It's someone tell me.
Is it Diane?
Uzo Aduba. I'll show you her. You've seen her before.
Uso is a Greek drink.
Really?
Yeah.
Uzo. I want to see a picture of her. Hold on. It came. The original aired in 2008, but the new one, she's the new one.
Oh, I've not seen this.
In
I've seen the one
2020.
with him.
Yeah, with him, and so he's
Yeah.
her supervisor. He's not in it, but his voice is in it, so they talk on the phone and stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I need to watch this.
Yeah, it was good, and they talk about COVID and stuff, and because they have to do Zoom calls and whatnot. But it's really good. I don't know, like he's a flawed character for sure. In the earlier seasons, he definitely, I mean, goes against a lot of
I
rules.
think that was like on purpose. They wanted,
Yeah.
they
To
did that.
show
They
you.
wrote him that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I was hooked from the beginning.
Yeah, no, that was a good show. I remember it.
It's on HBO Max. right now.
Damn, I have no access. How could I get access to all the? How could I get access to your American stuff?
Atlas VPN. www.atlasvpn.
I actually tried.
Kia.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
I did try to get. I got Atlas VPN. I actually did this when we were doing the Teal Swan thing, because I wanted to watch the Teal Swan documentary, and Atlas VPN did not work for me.
Dang.
But the other one worked. Was it NordVPN? One of the big ones. I can't remember if it was Express or NordVPN, but one of those I used, and
Did
that
work.
one worked. It set me in Dallas, and Dallas did the job for me.
Nice. That's where Robert Kennedy was coming back. That's a crazy story. A bunch of Trump supporters went to Dallas, flew to Dallas because they were told by QAnon that that Michael Jackson and Robert Kennedy were coming back to life in Dallas in front of their eyes. So like 1,000 people showed up.
God. Oh my God. Wow. That's something.
Yeah. And if you can guess it, it didn't happen. But
There's a first for everything.
Did he show up? Did he reincarnate?
No.
So.
Yeah.
anyways.
Well, this has been very interesting.
Yeah.
Very,
We
very
covered a
interesting.
lot. It's been fun. It's been real.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thanks for joining. We'll cut these segments out and then place them onto this channel.
Yeah. And we will see you. I think next week I'm okay with Thursday. Hopefully.
Okay. I'll be in California. However, I think I'm going to bring all my stuff, so that should be fine.
Okay.
What's the date next week? Yeah, I'm going to TwitchCon. I don't know if I've said that yet. I'm going to TwitchCon. I was debating if I was going to go. Also, if all goes well, I should also be going to the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's going to interview me about my amazing YouTube channel. I'm just kidding. I am going to go, but I'll be in the audience. So
Break all the news. Do an expose video.
yes, I will. Like Jimmy Kimmel canceled. Oh, Heather the Lawyer's live now. Okay, everyone go there. We can't send people there like on Twitch, but we can notify you. We stan her.
I have no idea what Twitch even is, to be completely honest. I'm very basic with my social medias.
It's like live streaming. It's only live streaming. A lot of gaming people are on there. They do, they stream games and stuff. But there's other people on there too that talk about stuff like us.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not going for myself. I'm going to learn about it, but Steven is a big Twitch fan, so he's going and I'm going too.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'll be on
Joy,
Instagram
great
updating.
time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, enjoy your new home, your new digs, your new Scotland stall.
So far, I'm not able to enjoy much of it because it's just so stressful with getting set up, and the admin part has been a disaster. So all of that stuff is like, it's a lot. And I'm still waiting on like my umbrella and my hairdryer and all of the stuff that I bought.
What else do you need to do? Keep telling me.
What do I need to do?
Yeah.
With like my stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I have to create a DIY wall because Joe from Minnesota does not want to do it.
I'm sorry. No, it is hard. I'm just joking. I know that is a pain in the ass. That's why I haven't moved in like 3 years, because I don't want to do any of that. But you're fine, right? You're fine, right?
Yeah, no, I'm actually really good, but I just feel like it's been very overwhelming because there's been like so many things to do, and I had very little time, and there's been like events, so and I don't know anyone around here, so it's been also like the social pressure of being like, oh, I gotta make some
Meet
friends
people.
like quickly, because otherwise I'm gonna spend the whole year alone here. So
Yeah. Sometimes
If
it's
you
better
miss
to
the
get
boat.
that. Yeah, get that out of the way now when everyone's starting to like look for friends. Otherwise, it's harder
yeah, then they will already have groups and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. But so far, the place, like the university, is great. It's fun. It's such a beautiful. It's a small city, but it's gorgeous. It's like extremely old. It's all like stone and
That's cool.
castles and like it looks amazing. But
I want to come visit.
hopefully, yeah, you should. It's cold here. You might have to go below 20 degrees. So
Never mind. I can't. I'm just joking. I'll still
I
come.
have sweaters. I have spare.
I have some extra sweaters somewhere.
And if
Well,
not, I can give
before
you
we
one.
go though, we should ask Kathy Heller what she thinks, if you're okay or not, if you're doing well. Kathy, what do you think about Cam's situation?
You're not freaking fine.
Is this Kathy Heller?
Yeah.
You're not freaking fine.
You're not freaking fine. No, we
Should I
shouldn't.
tell you guys?
No.
But yeah.
No, we shouldn't.
No.
We should wait. We should wait. We'll tease them. Like, something's coming.
Something's coming.
That's all we'll say.
Bull-faced lie.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
Peace out. Click all the buttons now. It's been real.
It's been great. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Woohoo! Yes.
Bye.
Bye.